Right. Hey everybody. So my name is Mr. Martinez. I am actually a Noble alum. I graduated from Chicago Bulls College Prep. So the only school that doesn't have a lion-themed mascot. But I just thought I would come in today to teach you about Mexican independence. And so before I do that though, there's something that I like to do with all of my classes. So I call it a shower thought. Who knows what a shower thought is? No one? Okay, so, so a shower thought is basically a deep thought that you have in either the shower. There's also like bathroom thoughts, but I thought if I said bathroom thought, that just sounded really weird. So I just thought I would go with shower thought. So one would be, so when you count from 0, your lips don't touch until you reach 1,000,000. So you could try it right now if you want.
Wait,
So
what?
count from 0, and then your lips won't touch until you reach 1,000,000.
Wait, what? That's crazy. Oh yeah.
Your lips will touch your teeth, but your lips won't touch.
I can do it.
Just blew your mind, right? So that's basically what a shower thought is, and I love to do it with all my students. Another one is when you say forward, all right? The last action of your lips is moving forward, and when you say backward, it's the first action of your lips to move backward.
That's wrong.
What?
I'm on your lip unevenly.
So it's just something that I like to share with all my classes. I have one for each day. Those are just 2 since I'm only here for 30 minutes. But, the real one that I want to share is, so you know how in movies they always talk about the butterfly effect? That in the past, you could change something really big by doing something small, right? So I always wonder, like, why don't people ever think about what they do in the present? Something small in the present that could alter the future. Because like you always think about, oh, let's go back in time, and then one thing could just change everything. So why not do it in the present? And so you as young adults, you're getting your education. You're doing something small in the present that will alter your life in the future. So keep up with what you're doing, and be really proud of the education that you're getting here. But that's just something I like to share, get us started for the day. But, all right, so also I have a historical fact, and it kind of ties in nicely with what I'm going to be teaching today. So March 20th was Benito Juarez's birthday, all right? And so a couple days ago, it was his birthday, and I just thought it was fit perfectly, because today we will be talking about Mexico. And so Benito Juarez was the Mexican president during when France was invading Mexico. And for those that, who's heard of Cinco de Mayo? Yeah? All right. Who here thinks that's Mexican Independence Day? Yeah? Okay, so fun fact, it is not. That day is actually celebrating the fact that we defeated the French troops at the Battle of Puebla. And so it's just an interesting fact that, most Americans think that Cinco de Mayo, oh, Mexican Independence Day. But actually, no, it's not. And here I'm going to correct a couple of misconceptions, but it's just to get us started off on the right foot, right? And so to talk about Mexican Independence Day, right, we have to rewind the clock back to colonization, good old times colonization. So we'll be working with primary sources, and you as students, I'll be giving you primary sources to differentiate the impact of Mexican independence, right? And we'll be looking at a couple rebellion leaders, and then actually look at the events and how they unfolded. But before I do that, I want to do a little do now. I don't want to have a slide. I want to project. All right, and so can I have someone help me pass out or if you have a sheet of paper, I could also do that. You could also pull that out. But I have here something for you to write on. Can I get a volunteer? No, yeah, do you want to come up and pass one out to everybody? All right, and then just go ahead and answer these questions, all right, and then put your name on it too. And as you're waiting for your paper, you could also just be thinking about these questions and how you're going to answer them. we go through this, just keep in mind that I don't know any of your names, so I will be asking you for your name. My name again is Mr. Martinez, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but just go ahead and correct me so I could get it right. I'm only here for a couple minutes with y'all, but it's important that I know your name and that you know mine. Oh, sorry, did we run out? Okay, let's go. I'll give you a couple minutes. So for any of these questions, if you don't know, it's perfectly fine. Just write, jot that you don't know the answer to. Yeah, I'm just trying to get a sense of where you are. And I'm hoping by the end of the class that we will be able to answer all these questions. Just hang on to that paper and we'll be coming back to it. already here. All right, so hold on to those, like I said, and we'll be coming back to them. All right, and so if I asked you guys to find, oh, I just want this. All right. If I asked you guys to find Mexico on a map, do you guys, on a globe, do you guys think you would be able to do it? Yeah. All right. So we'll try that out. Sorry, I just got to connect really quickly. So while that loads, so the Mexico we know of today is certainly was not even a concept during colonization, and we go back in time to colonial Mexico, right? It was called New Spain back in the day because Spain was the one colonizing Mexico, right? So we go back to the 1500s, 1800s, right? This Mexico that we see today is a completely different concept, right, than what people had originally thought of, right? And so, let me see, this is Friday. Right. So we're just gonna open up Google Earth. And so, part of it is that the events during colonization, right, led up to this big moment of independence. Right. And so, let's try this out. Yeah, you already saw we're blessed. All right, I'm just gonna, there we go. Gonna drop you off in the middle of nowhere. All right, so can I get a volunteer to come up to my computer? Yeah, you wanna find where Mexico is for us? All right, go for it. So, just come up here, it's touched, so all you have to do is just mess around with it. All right, and then we can help her out as she's trying to find Mexico. Oh, wait, I have it. No, I have it marked, but that's all right. You found it regardless. All right, thank you very much. So that is Mexico. Yep, very nice, very nice. All right, it definitely took me a couple minutes, and I am from Mexico, so that should say a lot about me. All right. I know my stuff though. All right. So, right. So this is Mexico, right? And a couple of important things to know is that Mexico, most of it is desert. A good chunk of it is mountains and rainforest, right? And then we have some ruins, right? But only 1/5 of it is actually farmable land, right? So 1/5 of it can be used to help support a population, right? And so Mexico shares the border with the U.S., right? As we see here, and we all know how much of a topic that is for our current president right now. But we won't talk about that, all right? And so we also share, right, the Gulf of Mexico, and we have the Pacific Ocean. Right. So it's bordered on both sides by water, right? And we have Baja California jutting out as a peninsula, right? And so Mexico is a very interesting place because it offers a lot of opportunity, and New Spain saw this, right, and took advantage of it when they first came over, right? And so as we move forward in understanding Mexican independence, right, I like to compare it to a fire, like building a fire, all right? So if I could also get someone to help me pass these out. Yeah. So you want to do this half of the room? You could do this side. You can do that half of this side. All right. I like to compare it with a fire, all right? And right, you need kindling for a fire. You need the stuff that burns really quickly. You need coals, right, to keep it burning, right? It's the essential bedrock of a fire. And then you also need a match and a flame, right? And so we're going to be conceptualizing Mexican independence through this analogy. So in front of you should be something like this. Everyone get one? Yeah. Oh, sorry. All right. So So Latin America, right, is an area of land that includes Central America and South America, as compared to when we say Hispaniola or Hispanic, or the Hispanic countries. Hispanic would mean a Spanish-speaking country, while Latin America tends to include countries that don't speak Spanish. So which countries in Latin America don't speak Spanish? Yes. Brazil, right? What language does Brazil speak? Portuguese. Very good. So Latin America is an inclusive term, right? That includes these non-speaking, non-Spanish-speaking countries, all right? While Hispanic refers to only Spanish-speaking countries, right? All right. So that's a little gist between Latin America and Hispanic, all right? So as we look at the kindling, right? The kindling for our fire for revolution and independence, all right? I want you to take a look at this primary source. Does everyone know what a primary source is? Can we just get someone to summarize what a primary source is? Yes.
A first, like, where the source originally came from.
Yeah. So we get information from where it originally came from, right? Yeah. Anyone else have any ideas they want to throw out there for primary source? Say we compare it to a secondary source. What would be the difference between primary and secondary?
It's like directly from the person who would like give you the information, or the information is direct information.
That's right. So one is a account of information that happened, and primary source is the actual person that was there, maybe experiencing the account. Very good. So this is an actual person experiencing Spanish acquisition of Mexico. So go ahead with your the person next to you, go ahead and take a look at this primary source, all right? And then I want you to keep in mind a couple questions as you go through it. First of all, jot down what you think the main idea of the primary source is, all right? And then also think about how this mercantile system that they talk about is unfair, all right? And if you were Juan Pablo, right, think of who you would send the letter to, all right? Because he didn't address it to anyone specifically, but if you were him, who would you address it to? All right, so take a couple minutes right now. Let's do 3 to begin with. And then just go through this primary source. And if you don't have someone sitting right next to you, you could go ahead and move next to someone. So I want you to write down your hand.
Oh.